Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of our Google Hangout, our Business Breakthrough Google Hangout. Each week, it's Glenn Dietzel here, and I've got a special guest today, and I look forward to talking to Wynton Churchill. Wynton is one of our clients. He's in our Omega Mind program, and today, if you want to understand the power of creating a vetting process that allows you to close deals a lot faster and a lot easier than your competitors are doing, and you want to know how to command maximum fees and royalties for high-end programs and services, and you also want to understand how to bridge and make the bridge from a coaching model that we're going to talk about today to royalties using an entrepreneurial certification process, then you've come to the right place today. And as we get started here, for those of you that are maybe new to our Google Hangouts, I am the mentor to the world's highest paid coaches, consultants, experts, and advisors. And everything I'm going to be sharing with you today and interviewing Wynton, we're going to be providing you some very specific advice because that's why you're here, right? You are bombarded with too much information and you are not executing in the way that you want, and you're probably not getting the return on invested dollars that you're making when your company, and not only that, but you're not building off an ROIT business, return on invested time business. So you have never checked out our Lifestyle Entrepreneur magazine. You can get an issue of the magazine from budurl.com/LEMAG, and you can access all of the issues from iTunes. So that's budurl.com/LEMAG, and get this month's issue, September's issue of Lifestyle Entrepreneur magazine, and also access all the back issues of the magazine. On our last Google Hangout, just to bring all of you up to speed, I gave you some very specific advice around 7 methods to fending off your top competitors. And I want to make sure that you know that on today's Google Hangout, behind everything we are covering, we're going to be talking about how to stop making the 7 critical mistakes that you're probably making in your coaching program right now. So we want to put a stop to these 7 critical mistakes. And the first mistake is rapidly losing market traction. Okay, so most entrepreneurs, most coaches and trainers today are losing market traction. And because you are not practicing what we're going to be teaching you today, or you're experiencing difficulties, you're also having a problem with your profit margins. So we want to stop killing your profit margins. And finally, we want to stop and put an end to preventing you from commanding maximum fees and royalties for high-end programs and services. And the 7 critical mistakes that I see coaches and trainers making today are the following, to set the stage for talking and our discussion today with Wynton. Not knowing how to command maximum fees. Not knowing how to command maximum fees is really eating in and killing your profit margins. Secondly, not getting paid up front. Not getting paid up front. All right, so that's another critical mistake. Third is trying to make the traditional business funnel fit your coaching business. Trying to make the traditional funnel fit your coaching business. All right, and the traditional funnel, if you've been following us, is certainly not a funnel to be using if you are a coach or a trainer. And if you are right now, you're probably realizing that you're creating less and less traction in today's marketplace. Not using a dual channel business coaching model. Not using a dual channel business coaching model. And what we mean by dual channel, active income focused on premium price programs and services, and residual income or royalty streams of income. Secondly, fifth, listening to too much information is another killer for coaches and trainers today. Sixth, not knowing your coaching number. Last week, we gave you specific access to a tool that all of our clients use, not knowing your coaching number. And if you would like to access the profit projection coaching number tool, just text the word number, NUMBER, to 248-469-4376, and you and I will exchange contact information, and also I'll provide you direct access to our profit projector coaching tool to allow you to create your coaching number. So if you want to grow your company, you absolutely must begin with the end in mind and grow your company in the fastest way possible. You need to know your coaching number. And by texting us there, you'll get the profit projection tool that will allow you to build your coaching number, all right? Because you always want to begin with the end in mind, right? And knowing your coaching number is going to provide you constraints, very specific constraints on what you should be doing or not doing in business. It's going to probably shock you how much time you're wasting by using a business model that's simply hindering your accelerated growth. And then seventh is not building your competitive advantage around speed to market. Not building your competitive advantage around speed to market. So we want to overcome those mistakes in your business, and I want to provide you some specific advice today, and that's why I brought Winton on, Winton Churchill, not Winston Churchill, but without the S, Winton Churchill. And Winton today is going to talk to us about how he's grown his business. And Winton, I'd first of all like to start, first of all, welcome to our Business Breakthrough Google Hangout.
Thank you. Good to be here, Glenn.
Yeah, why don't you let everybody know where you're from, where you are hailing from right now?
Well, at this moment, I'm in beautiful San Miguel de Allende, Mexico, and it happens to be tomorrow is their 4th of July, and so it's a lot of celebration and festivities going on. And I spend about half the year here, and then half the year in my sort of beachfront condo down in Huatulco, Mexico, on the Pacific coast in southern Mexico. So it's a little bit back and forth. It's a little cooler up here in the summer and pleasantly warm there, and from about November 1st to May 1st.
Winton, all of our viewers of our Business Breakthrough Google Hangouts want a lifestyle business, and you certainly have one. And I want to talk about how you've been able to leverage some of the very specific advice that I've provided you to grow your company in the manner that you have. And the first thing I want to do is let everybody know, I guess this is the hard question, and something that I had mentioned, but you were able to close your very first 6 clients at, I believe, $12,000 for a total of $74,000 within 12 hours of actual execution time, correct?
Yes, yes. Yes, I mean, certainly I came up to speed, had been to a few of the Omega Mind sessions and doing the work, but the implementation was pretty straightforward. Once you wrap your head around the model, and once I was able to take some of the templates and tools that you'd prepared, that part of it, the actual implementation of it, went amazingly fast, and I was quite surprised myself at how quickly it all came together.
How scared were you at the very beginning to change the business model from which you were implementing at that time?
Well, it was a big change. I had come out of a consulting business where into the business that I'm in now, which is largely a product/training business, and most of our products sell in the $200 to say $600 or $700 price range, and so the idea of going up to a $12,000 price range was pretty scary. And you see a lot of stuff out there about product launches and that sort of thing, and it's a fundamentally different business than just selling a canned training product. So yes, there was a little fear and trepidation around that, and that's why I came to you to help me put all that together. People were asking me for this kind of thing, but I was not able to deliver it and didn't quite understand how to put it together, and so that's when I wound up on your doorstep.
So to be really clear, you got over 2 times your return on investment into the Omega Mind program within 12 hours of actual execution time.
Yes, absolutely.
And so let's talk about the importance of building your competitive advantage around a number of different aspects, but around ROI. Talk to us about what you've learned, or talk to our audience about what you've learned about building your competitive advantage around the gap in your marketplace, specifically ROI, the return on investment that you're promising your market.
Right. That's the interesting thing with the training product. When you sell a training product, a lot of people that buy the training product, they implement it. They don't have an accelerated timeline. They can take time to work on it. They can work on it a few weeks, and then they can stop, and then they can come back to it. But a certain segment of your market really wants to monetize this, and most of our work is with baby boomers who are retiring and want to earn a freelance income. So we help them quickly learn how to come up to speed on freelancing. This, for many people, is the difference between whether they do it or not. You know, they can go out there and find freelancing opportunities on their own, scamper around the web, but the return on investment comes from focused effort. And some people are happy to buy a home study program and work with that. Other people, particularly in the Barefoot Brain program, they want to not just earn an income, they want to do something exceptional with the next decade of their life. And that's really, it's return on investment, and it's also return on life skills, because baby boomers have a lot of life skills they've accumulated. In a lot of cases, they don't know how to unpack those life skills and turn them into a freelancing kind of business, a global business. They don't know how to capitalize on their intellectual property. And so the ability to work with them over a full year just pretty dramatically transforms the quality of their experience of our products and our technology.
Winton, what were some of the biggest problems that you were having before you and I started working together?
Well, I mean, one was kind of a perfectionist thing. I thought about doing a coaching thing, and I felt like it had to be this way or that way. And you really have a framework for setting up this kind of program that keeps you out of the perfectionism trap. That was really valuable, as a lot of the structure of the legal agreements and that kind of thing, you've invested a lot of that, and I was able to take what you'd already invested significantly in and customize it for my own situation, and then work with my own lawyer to get it to meet my specific needs. But those are the kind of things that just save you light years of time when you go to do something like this. You know, I liken it to, you know, if you're trying to do this on your own, it's like sort of like running out the door with your shoes untied and trying to tie them as you're going. There's always something that comes up and bites you in the rear end, and then you got to get back to really running your business, and you don't have the time to really follow through on the execution. So that's what you gave, a very clear path to execution, way to get started with. And as you know, we've talked about this, is that I implemented just a few of the things you talked about 4 or 5, and was able to close that first round of business using just 4 or 5 of those tools. And there's probably another dozen tools that you talk about, and probably I've developed another 3 or 4 by now. But you know, you don't have to have everything done in order to get the ball rolling.
Let's talk about that for a second, in your vetting process, because so many coaches and trainers have when you really start looking at the core essence of business, which is a consultative process, which is an educational-based training system that you put potential candidates into and through, so that you, at the end of the day, have the right kind of candidates that are vetting themselves to your programs and services. First of all, talk to our audience about the importance from what you've learned around having a vetting process. And secondly, what have you learned specifically about vetting your own clients by being a part of our, by being a client?
Well, it's interesting. Vetting is something that was really not. You know, when you sell a training product at the retail level online, people walk in your door, they buy it, and they're in and out, and you encounter them from time to time. But obviously, creating the Barefoot Brain program, you need like-minded people. And I over the years have run, you know, brainstorming sessions and teams of people in organizations that I worked in and that sort of thing. And it's really important to get the right mix of people in there. You want people that are positive. You want people that are focused. In my case, I want people that have overcome some adversity in their life. And that's a very important vetting characteristic, because people that understand that there's work associated with accomplishing things are very important to have in your group. So that's one of the things that I created early on was a vetting criteria. I was able to actually interview from quite a number of people. I think I initially had about 22 applications for the program, and 7 people got in initially. So that really helped, and we just finished our third session here in San Miguel. We had a week-long meeting here in a $3 million luxury home on the side of a hill, and several of the members commented at the end how important it was to get the right mix of people in the room. And we talked a little bit about the vetting process as they move into their own coaching programs with our co-branding activity. So really drove that home. Just takes one person to be a stick in the mud in a meeting to cause a lot of problems and in a program. And so I really appreciate learning from you about how the vetting process works.
Describe how your business looks today versus before we started working together.
Well, it's different. I mean, we had our business was largely dependent upon our partners doing promotions around our training programs, and as those partners did promotions, the cash flow could be uneven, and you might get a last-minute notice from a partner that we're not going to be able to do that promotion this month because we had a technical problem, or we had another thing is hotter and we have to pursue that, and so that created some uncertainty in the business. The nice thing about having a complementary program like a high-end program is that it helps even out those cash flows, and it gives you the opportunity to invest in some of the automation tools that have been so helpful to our business, like Infusionsoft is a tool that we use, and so we're able to, number one, reinvest in doing a better job for those clients that are buying our training programs and in the way we communicate with them. And then we also, through the Barefoot Brain program, we're really plowing new ground and going much deeper into some of the things that we do in our training programs, and that has created a flood of 3 new products. There's 3 new products now that are in development, and they actually are in development in collaboration with people in our Barefoot Brain program, so they actually will have a royalty interest in those products as they go to market.
You know what? That's absolutely fantastic. And let's go there for a second. So many entrepreneurs, especially coaches and trainers, are building the wrong kind of data for their company, and they end up living in their heads. They end up consuming way too much information. They're never ever executing, and when they are, they're just not executing in where they really need to be focusing on. And again, the importance of knowing your coaching number or training number or consulting number, but knowing your number is so crucial. You mentioned 3 new products that are all being created right now. Talk to us about the importance of utilizing marketing feedback data. I've spent quite a bit of time off and on our Business Breakthrough Google Hangouts around the 3 types of data that coaches and trainers should be focusing on to grow their companies at an accelerated rate. Talk to us about how you've used marketing feedback data to build these 3 products, and what makes the products that you're creating right now completely different than the products that you've created in the past.
Well, I would say it's much more connected to the marketing feedback data. All these products are coming out of suggestions from our members in our low-end training programs, our home study type training programs, and we saw opportunities there, and you get a twinkle in the eye of, hey, this would be a good product. But then what we did is we went back to some of our joint venture partners and ran the ideas by them, and we've had probably half a dozen, and we narrowed it down to 3 that specifically lit up various of our joint venture partners in terms of what they felt like would sell to their audience. And then I went to the Barefoot Brain members, who I look at as family, not just clients or what have you, and said, who's got some expertise in this area and who wants to participate in this product development? Because one of my log jams has been the ability to get product out. You get so active in running a business, and I'm thankful that the training product side of the business is doing well, but there's a lot of activity in that part of the business. And so key for me in having the additional revenue that the Barefoot Brain program brings in is being able to hire or outsource a certain amount of that activity that I'm doing so that I can focus more on the product development and collaborate. I mean, that's a teaching point in the Barefoot Brain program, is these people are coming into the program to learn how to monetize their intellectual property, and what better way to monetize your intellectual property than work with me, who has a number of best-selling products in the marketplace, and work with my joint venture partners and take a royalty interest on that and learn from the inside how to develop a product. It's a great fit, and it's really resonated with the members that are participating in that.
Excellent. The importance of it, I just wanted to hit home something you said, using your members, using the people that have purchased your programs and getting feedback from them. And again, the importance of inverting the business funnel and knowing how to assess the right kind of client that's going to invest in your programs, because they're the ones, there's something that happens when somebody invests with you as a coach or a trainer or a consultant. You change the relationship when somebody invests with you, and by keeping them on the free side or keeping them stuck in a low-end program, you're not getting the same kind of data as you are with high-end clients, and you're certainly not getting the same data by having buying client if you don't have, and you're just leaning on data from non-buying people. They're not clients, they're just people, and until somebody gives you money for your programs and services, the relationship changes. Winton, talk to us about what's different in your educational process today that in terms of attracting high-end programs and services, and this might overlap a little bit with the vetting process, but how is your educational process set up differently than what it was before when you were focusing on low-end programs as opposed to now, knowing how to command maximum fees for your highest end programs and services?
Well, I would say it's very personalized, and we've built an application process into this. So we're able to go to our members and say, for those of you that are interested in doing more around this area, please raise your hand, and through the Infusionsoft system, we're able to tag those people, and then we communicate strictly with those. So we're not burning out our list. Those people then are offered their first offer is to fill out an application. We don't really say a lot about the program. We have about a 2-page email that describes what the program is about, who it's for, who it's not for, and that's directly from your influences is who it's not for. Very important. That was a very important thing to put into our communication, because I found the quality of people that are even looking at the program is much higher, because presumably the people that are not really committed, or they're in the category of they fit 1 or 2 or 3 of the things that say this is not for people who just want to make money any way they can, or poke at this and then do something else. That really helped filter the people that are coming into that. So the very next thing they see is an application. I review the applications, and then I either notify them of whether they can move to the next step, or whether I try to give them some advice about how to do what it is they want to do from what I learned in the application, a sentence or two, but say that this program doesn't seem to be a fit for them at this time. The people that it is a fit for, I had been scheduling a one-on-one call, and that call could frequently run 45 minutes to an hour. And one of the things that I've done just over the last week as a result of further improvements that you've suggested is I created a video that is about 35-40 minutes long that I send to them, and I ask them to look at the video and review that, because I found that I was repeating a lot of things in that first call. And with our most recent sort of asking people to raise their hand, we had 51 people submit applications. For right now in my group, I only have 4 open slots for the rate at which I'm growing my business at this particular time. So I could easily have 51 hour-long conversations and then have to have another series of conversations. So created this video, sent it out yesterday. It wasn't a perfect video. It was an imperfect video, but I was able to do it and get it out. And by the time I woke up this morning, I sent it out yesterday afternoon, I had 5 people that have scheduled their next calls, and I presume that through the week then I'll get people scheduling their calls. So these are all important refinements of the process that begin to save you time and free your time up, obviously, to do other things. So then the next step is a call. I just had one before this, and that person is qualified to move forward, so I'll send them the executive summary. We'll have one other quick call around specifics of the executive summary, and then they'll receive, if appropriate, the invitation to join the program. So very minimal time involvement in this. Took about 6 hours to create the video, but that 6 hours is going to save me hours and hours every day of repetitive conversations.
Do you ever sit back and look at where your company is right now, Winton, and marvel? You would never have dreamed of running the company the way that you are and attracting the kind of clients that you are today.
Absolutely. I mean, you and I just started talking a little over a year ago, and in your vetting process, and here, 14 months later, I've got a whole new line of business. It's a substantial part of my business that was not in place. I mean, it's one thing to know that this is something that you want to do, but as an entrepreneur, having revenues and a new program, and having run 3 international events now since we got together is just tremendous, and I'm delighted. And the great thing for me, when you sell a training product, you don't really get to engage people quite like you do when you're working with somebody as closely as I am with my members in the Barefoot Brain program, and that's just delightful. It's very energizing to have that kind of interaction with folks.
In our 3-step process from going from building a highly leveraged coaching and training company to building the back end of that highly leveraged coaching and training company around royalties, the bridge, as I mentioned at the onset of our business breakthrough training today, was what I call entrepreneurial certification process. You've just now, your company is growing in so many different ways. You're creating a lot of new profit centers that are very high end with margins that are almost 100%, which is really really cool. I know you've mentioned that a couple of times to me. Talk to us about this whole entrepreneurial certification process and about setting up, if you will, the rules for your industry, becoming kind of the tool positioning company, where you get a chance to set the rules and position yourself against any other competitor in your industry. So talk to us about what you've learned and what you've been able to accomplish with your own certification and training program that you've just recently created.
The challenge for people going into the field of freelancing, particularly baby boomers, and that's who we focus on, they have different learning styles, they have different needs, and a lot of people can go out and do some of the things that we recommend in terms of freelancing free of charge, but they usually die on the vine when they're trying to do this stuff because they don't know how to do it. And we've had over 6,000 people go through our program over the last 6 years now, and the learning that we've had from that has enabled us to amass a tremendous amount of intellectual property that was helpful in getting those people to the point. But now we've codified it and sort of segmented it and found and created a teachable model. And obviously, when you do something, you don't as clearly understand it as when you go to teach other people how to do it. And that's what the certification program has done for us, is it's forced us to really codify certain things, focus on what's the difference that makes the difference kind of stuff. And now that has created a whole new opportunity for the members of our program as a part of their Barefoot Brain experience. Now they'll be able to incorporate all that technology into helping people in their markets move into this area. So it's just been tremendous.
You've got competitors in your marketplace, and we've spent last week 7 ways of fending off your top competitors. Mm-hmm. How important has it been for you to have a certification program and process to distinguish and set you apart from all the noise in your industry?
Yes, Great point. Nobody in our field really has anything like that, and a lot of people will scrape together an ebook or a video or two or something like that and purport to be able to provide you training around what it is we do. And just by showing them the diagram of what we cover in our program, you know, compared to what you're getting in an ebook or a 1-hour video or something like that, is so much more comprehensive that it really separates you apart. You know, there's no thinking person that would look at one versus the other could possibly say that, you know, all this stuff that Wynton's showing me I need to understand in order to do this effectively, I'm going to get out of this 1-hour video or this 50-page ebook.
Wynton, one of the principles that we have assisted you with, and we certainly teach, is the importance of framing what you do from the standpoint of what your competitors fail to do, and ensuring, and this is important for all of you, in terms of building out your competitive advantage, because the human mind remembers visually and spatially, and so it's really important to create your competitive advantage around a visual spatial representation for what it is that you do. You've watched a lot of our clients in a pretty intimate setting build out their own competitive advantage, and what can you tell our viewers about the processes that we've created for entrepreneurs today, whether they're in startup mode or whether they are seasoned entrepreneurs? From your perspective, what have you seen that's different?
I've seen it's very simple, and not most people don't understand this visual component. If you've got to be able to sit down with a napkin in a Starbucks or a restaurant and be able to, or a Tom Hortons, and be able to draw out your specific your specific advantage. And I didn't understand what mine was. I mean, I was pretty clear about what my business was and my unique selling proposition, but by going through your process, I was very quickly able to arrive at a much clearer understanding of what my uniqueness is, and sort of project that weakness into, that strength into what we teach now, you know, and recognize how rare that is in the marketplace today. I mean, other people can teach you how to do freelancing, other people can teach you how to live internationally, but we really combine those with a baby boomer focused methodology to help baby boomers specifically make that transition.
What would you say is the biggest, or the biggest opportunities that are before you right now with your company because of what you've learned working with me?
Well, I would say certainly much of the growth is in the coaching area and the co-branding and certification. For us, in our market, there are 10,000 baby boomers retiring every single day, and 75% of those are facing a shortfall in their retirement planning. So that means on average, basically, there's a little over 7,000 baby boomers a day retiring that are looking at how to supplement their income. And there's all these cockamamie things out there that, you know, push a few buttons in your sleep and make money on the internet. And our program it teaches them how, based on the skills they already have, how to do something. So as we impart that to our co-branding partners, we see that as a huge opportunity going forward, is continuing to provide product and services for coaches that want to help baby boomers make those transitions.
You know, I mentioned a principle last week. It's 7 ways of or methods of fending off your top competitors, and one of them was it's not good enough to compete anymore. You must know how to dominate. And one of the, you know, and then leading, you know, a principle around that is it's either play big or it's go home. Wynton, why don't you comment on this from the standpoint of you decided to dominate, to play big, to put out a co-branding opportunity, or i.e. a private white label coaching program, and we take you step by step through it, and everybody who works with me in Omega Mind, we go through it in a step-by-step process on how to do this. So many people are scared to play at that level because it's really not just competing anymore. It's stepping yourself, you know, above all the competitors, you know, all the competitors that maybe have books or, you know, have 30, 40 years of experience, etc. in an industry, and stepping yourself above that noise. Tell everybody how excited your clients are to be able to co-brand with you, and the flip side of that, maybe elaborate on by not having a co-branding relationship and having stepped yourself, clearly at the top of the food chain in your industry, what you would be missing out today if you hadn't a business model that allows you a co-branding relationship with your clients and with other coaches and trainers in your industry.
Well, I would say that in the vetting process for the Barefoot Brain program, really one of the big ahas that kept coming back is a lot of people wanted to do something with their knowledge, their skills, their wisdom, but they didn't really know how to go about it, and then they'd have to go out and build a reputation. And frankly, if you're a baby boomer, you don't have 10 years to build a reputation. You want to be executing and having the experience of enjoying the fruits of your labor in that period of time. So the co-branding they saw as a great way to bring the Barefoot Consultants brand into what they're doing. And of course, we have conversations around how to do that with their specific expertise. But that was a huge breakthrough. I mean, people really get that right away. You mean I can take the brand that you've built over the last 6 or 7 years, and I can pull that into my business, and you will refer coaching clients to me because we don't do coaching, so we're creating a whole audience of or a whole outlet of coaches that can deliver on that service that people need. So it is just critical to have the co-branding. The co-branding says not only are you good at what you do, and that's what I've done with building the brand and creating the programs with the team that I've done that with, but it also says that we're so good at what we do, we teach other people how to do it, and that is a positioning that typically in a marketplace only one person has, especially an emerging marketplace. And if you can garner that in your marketplace, a lot easier to get there using the tools and concepts that you offer, and a lot easier to stay there, sort of unwrap your intellectual property in the ways that you talk about.
Speak to the entrepreneur right now, or the coaching company owner who's closer to startup, or maybe they're in startup mode right now, and they're hearing you say this, and they say, yeah, you've got, you had 5 years of experience. I'm just in startup mode. What would you tell that CEO or the entrepreneur who's just starting a coaching and training company about the importance of starting with a co-branding model like you're doing?
The co-branding model, even if you're starting, you can find a uniqueness in your marketplace that will lend itself to the co-branding model. And this is what the biggest problem I see with entrepreneurs is they try to do the exact same thing that somebody else is doing. They don't have enough of a uniqueness to it. But if you can bring that uniqueness to the skills that you're bringing to the marketplace, the co-branding from day one is your lever. It's the way to have a different conversation with your prospective members or clients that you're not going to have without the co-branding piece. It also, the co-branding piece forces you to think about your business in a different way, not just in the doing of it, but in the teaching of it, and that's a very important organizing principle for any entrepreneur starting today.
You know what, and let's just pick up on that just for a second here, beginning with the end in mind, the organizing principle. And something that you said is just crucial to accelerated growth today, and that's developing newer and faster conversations. And I can't stress to all of you right now that are watching this that if you are at all perceived to be your competitor or somebody else, as your potential candidates are looking at you to invest their money in your programs and services, in your position very similar to somebody else, or you really don't know how to differentiate yourself, you are absolutely killing your business momentum. In fact, I'll go so far as to say is that in 2014 and 2015, you've got zero chance of making it in the online world, because today's market, you've got to be a lot more strategic in your execution in terms of just starting in the principles and the concepts that Winton has covered here today. Winton, how excited are your high-end clients that are investing almost $20,000 to work with you? How excited are they to work with you, as opposed to the clients that pay you, $299 for the programs that you were selling before you and I started working together?
Well, they're very excited, and I'll tell you a little story. We at the conference here in San Miguel, we had a little bit of downtime, or we'd go out to dinner at night, or we'd break early in the afternoon, and people would walk around the town. And I don't know, about half the people in the program would run into people, and we've been talking about what do you say to people when they ask you about what you do and that kind of thing, elevator pitches, basically. And they were able to give elevator pitches, and they saw the same thing that I've been seeing for years. When you talk to people about this, they say, oh my God, you mean I can go live in San Miguel de Allende, where we are right now, and I can work online and live anywhere in the world and earn money, and that, they had the experience of doing that. So yeah, you talk about a level of excitement, and even people flying back on the plane. We had one retired attorney in our program that ran into somebody as he was checking in, just conversation at the airport. What do you do? Well, I'm just coming back from a conference. Oh, what was the conference about? It's just I mean, and they're jazzed. So they're seeing how the interest level and it's almost like they want to grab you by the lapels and say, how do I get in? How do I get in? So it's all good.
Yeah, no, it's so I am so thrilled to hear that. To hear my own clients, to all of you, excited about what I have found and what I know about creating high-end programs and services, and being an expert to experts, an advisor to advisors in this industry. And this is a time and day and age when you know how to train and you know how to collate your intellectual property to put a defined mark in your industry, where most of your competitors are relying on hyping, relying on outdated marketing and sales tactics that just feel really weird in the advisory age. And this is a day and age to step out of all of that and step into an accelerated approach to educating potential candidates for your programs and services. Winton, what would you tell potential candidates for Omega Mind and working with me? Should I have openings available? What would be your specific advice to that person right now?
Well, I would say to engage in the vetting process and it really figure out if this is a fit, because it certainly has transformed my business in ways that I could only imagine. I mean, tremendously valuable, and will continue to transform my business. So I'd encourage you that whether you're starting or whether you've got a coaching practice or you're doing something entrepreneurial, that Glenn's advice is going to help you extract sort of a better monetization from it than your plan is today. I can almost guarantee it.
To all of you that are watching here, Winton is an example of the high caliber of clients that we attract. And imagine if you had systems set up, the same kind of systems that I use, that Winton uses, to attract unbelievable candidates for your programs, to become a voice piece for what it is that you do, so that you allow your own potential clients to live vicariously through your own clients. And if you like the type of client that Winton is, you're going to absolutely love the kind of clients that we attract, and not in a woo-woo sense, to Omega Mind. High-level startups. About 50% of Omega Mind members are in startup mode, and 50% are already some level of entrepreneurship, many of them super successful and already leaders in their field, and just want a better scalable approach to business. And for those of you that are just starting in business, I'll tell you right now, as I mentioned at the beginning, there are 7 mistakes, costly mistakes, critical mistakes that you're probably making with your coaching and with your training startup company. You want to learn now. Don't learn, 6 months down the road when you're jaded, you're cynical, you're frustrated, trying to make things happen, and you're trying to follow so much advice and information out there that simply doesn't capture the realities of how people invest in today's advisory age. So If you would like to meet Winton and other amazing Omega Mind members and have an opportunity to work directly with me for a one-day intensive, we have another one coming up very soon. And you can go to newgurumodel.com/one-day. You can get on our early notification list, newgurumodel.com/one-day. And our next one is at the Canadian Lake Home, and you're definitely going to want to, if you're interested in learning the same systems that Winton is using, and a chance for you to look at your business for an entire day. There's no sales pitches. It's solid day of education. You're going to meet some top flight entrepreneurs that fly in from all over the world. It surprises the Border Patrol, the Canadian Patrol at our U.S.-Canada border here, because the Canadian Lake Home is about 15 minutes away from the U.S.-Canadian border. It surprises the Canadian customs officials on all the entrepreneurs that come in from all over the world to the Canadian Lake Home to learn these same kind of business acceleration strategies and advanced teaching and learning processes that Winton uses today. So you can do that if you want. I really think and believe wholeheartedly and advise specifically that the most successful entrepreneurs today are able to make fast decisions. And if you want an opportunity for you and I to connect directly about our one-day intensives, you'll find this information as well on the page that I just shared with you. But you can also text the word Omega, OMEGA. Should you be listening to this Google Hangout, if you're not in front, something visual right now, you're just hearing the audio component for this Google Hangout, you can text the word Omega, OMEGA, to 1-248-469-4376. Text the word Omega, OMEGA, to 1-248-469-4376. Omega Mind is sponsoring our one-day business acceleration intensives at the Canadian Lake Home, and you definitely, if you're serious about business acceleration and you're excited about the results that Winton is getting, and you would like those same results for your business, you can again go to newgurumodel.com/one-day, newgurumodel.com/one-day, and you can check out what our one-days look like and get and exchange. We can exchange contact information as well in a safe and secure manner. So, Winton, thank you so much for being a part of our Business Breakthrough Google Hangout training today. I'm excited to see what the next 6 months and what 2015, the fall, is going to do for you in 2014, and what 2015 is going to allow you to do. So I'm really excited for you.
Thank you, Glenn. Thanks for everything.
Yeah, all right. On behalf of the entire Awaken team and Winton Churchill, this is Glenn Dietzel here. Look forward to speaking to you again on our next Business Breakthrough Google Hangout.